Hey everyone, welcome back to day 35. We are jumping right into something absolutely crucial today, API security. Think of this explainer as your master blueprint for assembling a truly robust API security testing toolkit. We're going to get right into the practical application of securing the digital world, so let's dive in.
Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to kick things off by laying the foundation, then we'll compare REST and GraphQL architectures. After that, we'll dive into the OWASP API Top 10, check out tools like Postman and Burp, and finally, bring it all together to build your ultimate security testing toolkit.
All right, first up, laying the foundation for API security.
Which brings us right to the blueprints, REST versus GraphQL architectures.
So, when we look at REST architecture, it traditionally relies on multiple, specific endpoints. It's kind of like a building with separate doors for the kitchen, the living room, and the garage. You have to go to a specific door for a specific thing. GraphQL, on the other hand, it acts way more like a single, flexible front desk. You just hand over a complex list of exactly what you want, and it goes and gathers the whole shebang for you. Now, grasping this distinction is absolutely essential. Why? Because the architecture literally dictates your attack surface. If you know how the data flows, you can anticipate exactly how an attacker might try to exploit it.
Moving on to identifying the broken logs. Let's talk about the OWASP API Top 10.
Now, the OWASP API Top 10 provides a really comprehensive framework of threats. But for today, we're zeroing in on two specific, highly critical areas: rate-limiting failures and broken object-level authorization. These are, hands down, two of the sneakiest, yet most prevalent, ways attackers manage to bypass security controls.
First up is rate limiting. In simple terms, this is just restricting how many requests a client can make in a specific time frame. Imagine for a second a malicious script just hammering on your server's door 10,000 times a second. No way your system handles that gracefully, right? Without proper rate limiting, your API is essentially a massively popular nightclub that just completely forgot to hire a bouncer. The system tries to answer everybody, exhausts all its resources, and then completely crashes. It's an embarrassingly simple oversight, but man, it causes catastrophic availability issues.
Then we have BOLA, or Broken Object Level Authorization. This one is a super subtle but devastating structural blind spot. Let's say your system assigns you user ID 105. You can see your own data perfectly fine. But what if you arbitrarily change that 105 to a 106 in the URL? Or maybe to an admin's ID like 001? If the API just blindly accepts that request without double-checking your actual security clearance against that specific requested object, well, you've just walked right into someone else's private vault. It's a massive risk.
So how do we find these issues? That brings us to our inspector's kit, looking at Postman and Burp.
To really test this stuff, you need two indispensable tools in your kit. Postman is your foundation for crafting and sending API requests. It's basically how you interact cleanly with the API under normal conditions. Burp, on the other hand, well, that's the industry standard for intercepting and manipulating those requests. Think of it this way. You use Postman to generate the traffic, but you use Burp to grab that traffic mid-flight. Once Burp catches it, that's when you start tampering. You change that ID from 105 to 001, and suddenly you're exposing those flaws. Together, they are an incredibly powerful dynamic duo.
All right, let's bring all of this together for the final build of your security testing toolkit.
Let's stack all these concepts together into one unified strategy. Step 1, map the architectures. You have to read the REST or GraphQL blueprints to truly understand your entry points. Step 2, target the flaws. We don't want to just click around blindly. We want to hunt specifically for OWASP vulnerabilities, like missing rate limits or those BOLA exploits we just talked about. And finally, step 3, deploy your tools. Fire up Postman to craft your packets and use Burp to intercept and manipulate them in real time. This kind of structured execution, it's exactly how the best in the business secure modern applications. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with something to really think about. You have the blueprints, you know the flaws, and you literally hold the tools in your hands. But are your APIs truly secure? Because it's one thing to possess the inspector's kit, but it is another thing entirely to put it to the test out in the wild. So take these concepts, finalize your toolkit, and go find those broken logs before an attacker does. Keep learning, stay curious, and happy testing.